Welcome back to the Watch Along Gang. Today we have a weird bit of cultural
Watching along.
nostalgia, I guess. It's something when I was 1 year old.
I like this. This used to be on TV all the time when I was a kid, so I
Yeah.
actually do have some interest in
Okay,
this.
which
concept.
is
It's the HBO, the old, really elaborate HBO intro with like the little city and the people in their houses. I don't really remember that. Like,
I don't remember this at all. I didn't have HBO
even
as a
sometimes
kid.
still
Though.
plays on HBO. Like
HBO was
Yeah.
weird as a kid. You heard about it and it was expensive, and you'd see.
I
hotels.
never had it either.
Hotels always had a little sign saying "Color TV, free HBO," and it's like, ooh.
But my grandparents always had.
yeah, I never
HBO
had it when
too.
I was a kid. I had it when I was older, like when we were like maybe
So
as a teenager.
I probably haven't seen this. So
My grandparents always had it, and I'd had taped movies that I'd like had Emmett Potter's Jug Band Christmas and stuff that I had taped from HBO and other things that had the HBO.
What used to
intro
drive
on
me
it.
nuts about HBO, if you taped a movie off of it, is HBO would just talk over the end credits to tell you what was coming up next, which seems so weird to me as a movie.
That's like a
channel
BBC.
to say,
BBC
hey,
does that
thanks
too.
for watching
Those are
Emmett
those-
Otter. Coming up next is blah blah blah, like a DJ.
now they do that for every show, like even TV shows. If they have credits, they just like shrink them down to the bottom
Yeah.
and have some other thing go. Let's watch this. I'm curious.
Roll that beautiful bean footage, yeah. So this is already looking good right here.
Oh man,
Yeah,
it's-
very
Listen.
professional looking.
Very the gradients and stuff. All right,
well,
I've not watched this.
oh, it's kind of 3D, trippy.
I mean that even
Was
that
that made
thing
in a
probably took
computer?
forever. Yeah, probably. And that took
I like
forever
that
probably to do
graphic.
that.
We did that practically.
This is like a little mini documentary, by the way. It's like
And it's vintage documentary too.
You don't
Yeah.
recognize this? This is awesome.
this is what
I
it
never
was.
saw this. I guess a little miniature city they built.
Yeah, well, they'll get into it. We're watching the making of. So, what is this? How do they do that?
We were
It's
just
for
talking about
HBO's
Logan's
new
Run.
on-air look. I love it.
All those questions answered and more.
Man, this is a big-ass model.
For real. It's like the opening of Beetlejuice.
This is great.
They spent all their money on the
HBO
model.
City. Yeah. It really is a lot of money.
Oh God, it's a giant hand.
I can see the hand.
His forehead. The great ones have come to take their retribution.
Man, how much money did they spend on this?
I love the HBO. I love how everything is practical. I do miss this.
I know.
Oh, it's kind of neat to watch too. How they
It
did
is
things.
cool.
Turned on HBO, they were tuning in an entertainment center.
So much more clever then
It
than they
all
are now
began
because
with
they
an
had to
idea
build
at
things.
I mean,
Liberty
I guess you
Studios in New
shouldn't
York.
build
We
an
had
HBO
to-
logo if you can just do it.
come up with a concept
Tony Lover.
that would be unique,
It's a great
that it would
name.
look unlike anything else
I like how
on
intense this dude is.
cable or on network television.
He's the auteur, I
I
think.
took the
We're
viewer
not
studio.
and
fucking
put him
around
in
here.
a home environment, and he turns on his television set, and the camera slowly pulls back and goes out his window, and magically we start this tour and flight as we swoop down.
Just hear the audio
through a
recording
city.
of this. It's
Well,
so.
the thing was that the shoot that they're trying to do, they couldn't do it with an actual city. They couldn't run down the middle of a
Because
city
drones
with a
didn't
helicopter
exist.
or shoot it
Yeah.
out of a plane or what have you. So the effect they were trying to get, they had to have a city built, a model city.
I miss
We
Mindy.
started
What's so
off
weird
by
now in
building
CG
funny.
Pro, you can just
mock-up.
generate a
And we
city in
walked
like
up on the
2
buildings,
minutes and
detail
then
areas
do a
that we
fly
felt
through.
we would see.
And even
You could probably
models,
make
they
like a
can
amalgam
3D
of
print
this.
stuff. You know, even the
But even this,
physical
in
models
a
are easy.
computer, you could probably make a version of this within a couple hours. Like,
Oh yeah, easy.
Six
Not easy for me,
worked
but
for
easy
over
for people
3
that know how to
months
do
to
it.
create nearly 100 unique buildings
Gross.
for HBO City.
Man, look how much work it is just to.
The
Oh wow.
models were all handcrafted with
Isn't this
painstaking
awesome?
accuracy. First, they were shaped
Love
and
it.
molded.
jeez Louise.
Is that
They
plaster
were
or what is
painted
that?
to look weather-beaten, and finally detailed with
And again, oh my
incredible
god.
accuracy.
And again, this is for things people used to fast forward through if they taped it. I guess they can't fast forward on the.
It's amazing how much work went into it. You know.
And they just throw that thing away when they were done with it.
They probably could have sold it to like some train.
This is
miniature
Wasn't it
train
awesome to
people.
have that?
Detail to put into
Yes,
something
it
like
looks
this.
awesome.
Have you seen the
But,
train
a lot of
sets that
people
people
take
build
things
with
for
the
granted when
small
they
scale,
walk down
the
street,
smallest scale
look into a
trains?
storefront or what have you. But if there's something missing, you know something's missing. But you
Oh, it's
don't know
actually
what
got
it is.
a light in it.
There's
Work?
much detail.
work.
in it.
Things wired up to work like that? There's no way you
Every
could.
little thing.
Because they
This guy
didn't have.
just
Did they have
likes
LED back then?
He just likes
He's
this.
done it. Oh my god.
Or is it a little Christmas light?
there's a working light bulb in every room.
I mean, that
every
makes sense because
building,
you can see that
and
when you're flying
headlights in the
by.
cars and buses.
Oh wow!
This is
Remember the final product of this
There are
was on
hundreds and hundreds of
SD
trees, all
TVs.
handmade.
You know, that's what's funny. It's like
13
all this work
inches.
probably
That did not.
show
as
very
the
well in the.
SD43. Yeah, it's
The
like
model
Yeah.
was carefully covered with a tarp, so an artist.
And even
could
that
paint the 16-foot tall
SD43 is not
cyclorama that
SD.
creates
It's like the, you
illusion
know
of
what I mean? Like
twilight.
the resolution quality was not great.
oh my god, I love this.
The length of the model is 30 feet long. And it's
Jeez.
actually broken up into thirds: your city, your suburbs, and your country.
It looks just like those little train sets.
I remember loving this when I was a kid, though. Thinking it was like magical, though. So, I mean, it worked.
It was magical. I love this
Like,
intro.
It's better than going to Toyland at Christmas time, because this place is just filled with toys of one kind or another.
HBO theater.
I like the way we really.
Those
went
buildings
into
look pretty
the
good.
sculpture of the
Fancy
buildings.
theater.
We researched.
There's that little
the-
people.
We tried to see the architecture.
This actually looks
found
better than the thing in
many of the
Logan's Run.
cities,
Weird.
and most of it's Victorian.
I just watched
That's
Logan's
where we
Run.
really-
It was
Yeah,
awesome.
well, Logan's Run
Laughing
is
at
not
the miniature work.
benchmark
Carvings on the buildings.
for high-end special effects.
We
I
threw a
love
few
that movie.
extras
but
in.
it's not.
Seeing if people would spot them. We put a few bums on the street, a few hookers on the
Aw.
corner.
Fuck your
Hookers
bums
on the
and
corner.
hookers.
He just said hookers in
Yeah,
there.
Jesus,
Did he
yeah.
say that really?
He did say we put bums and hookers in it. Like now you're making it
Hold on.
weird. Why
Wait,
can't
Wait,
you-
I gotta see
Rewind
the
it. I'll just
miniature.
rewind it.
The miniature
Listen.
ladies of the night.
We put a few bums on the street, a few hookers on the corner.
Hookers on the
Those little things
Oh,
are like our
that's-
calling card. Little things that
That's
like our
weird.
calling card.
Not
I
Bums
thought
and
this
hookers.
was a nice city.
Because we're bums and hookers modeling.
While
It's
some
like
workers
how
were
It's the
building
80s. It's
HBO
New York.
software,
Okay.
Others
This
were
is like,
constructing the letters that formed the HBO logo.
look at this.
These
That's
letters are
awesome.
made of
To have
brass and
that would be
chrome-plated.
awesome. That whole metal.
In the finished effect, they appear to be a giant HBO space station floating towards you.
I don't know
It
about that.
bursts forth following the Stargate effect, a special piece of animation created by David Bruce.
It's actually pretty simple. You might be surprised when you see it on the table. It's two pieces of art. They're simply placed on top of one another and offset.
Oh, wow. Look
Give
at
you
that.
this
God,
huge
that's
blast
cool. That's
with dots that
ridiculously
move
cool.
Down and out from the center of the explosion.
How's that even working that
Shooting
way?
at one frame at a time.
Damn it.
The
You're
computer will
making me
move
feel
them
bad about
slowly
all my choices.
across one another to build up the special effects.
I
that
don't
you
even
see.
know how that's working. What that
guess
mask is
the-
doing.
You really never saw
Effect
this?
is combined with a star field.
This music's
HBO
great,
logo,
too.
And several other
Bow,
components,
bow,
including a
bow,
musical
bow.
65-piece orchestra.
65 pieces.
Ferdinand J. Smith, composer and
Man,
producer
that's
of the music.
awesome hair, dude.
Well, what we were trying to achieve with this particular
80s
project on
hair
HBO was to
aficionado.
basically have the biggest,
And everybody's in suits, too.
Most
It's like, why are you
exciting
wearing a
sound
suit
on
to this?
television.
He's also got like
In other
the
words, you
white
can see
collar
some
and blue
sitcoms going
shirt.
kinda-
It usually
I don't think
means
I've ever seen a
corporate.
composer in a
What's
suit
that
except for a
wallpaper
wallpaper.
back
all
there?
the music to reflect
It's probably the cool
how big
HBO
and
offices or
enormous
something.
project
like
this is.
David
24
Letterman's
hours
first
a day
set.
of programming that interests people. It isn't just movies.
Another special effect enables streaks of color to race around
Yeah, I
the
remember.
O
This is
in
so
the
cool.
production logo.
Look at
That's
that.
an
It's
impressive effect for the
This is a
time.
special effects rig we built to put color arrays into the inside of the Chrome O. Basically, what it was is a series of
Pure
fiber
Chrome O.
optics built with
This
motors
stuff
and
is
gears
crazy.
and pulleys
All of this
so
stuff
that
is
we
done
can
in After
change the
Effects now
color
and things.
and
Now
also
it's like-
move it around.
Well, you know,
They-
you can set up a camera out on the street at night.
It's awesome. It's like motion control is what it is, yeah.
Lights leave a
Yeah.
long streak. It's essentially the same.
Now they
effect.
have like a long.
Oh, they're doing like
exposure
time
time.
lapse things.
Explain
Time,
the
yeah.
smoke effect.
Well,
That's
the smoke
cool.
effect is
That
done
came
to
from
allow
that. It
change.
looks like it's just animated,
First time we
like
did it, we didn't have plastic
drawn.
in the room. We didn't have masks. We had no control over it. And it looked like a fire. And it smelled
It
like
does
a
look
fire.
like a
And
fire.
when we were done, we did too.
Lost some
What
good
it
men
does
that
is it
day.
gives the model atmosphere so that when you're looking down the street, a block or 2 blocks away isn't quite as sharp as where you are. It made our mountains soft. So when you're in one part of the model, the next part, which is really
like how
5
much
feet
thought
away,
goes
looks like
into
it's
this.
100
How are they
miles
doing
away.
the camera on it? Did they show
it's
that?
just in the crate
When
right
the
there.
model
yeah,
is
that's
done
what-
in
yeah,
photo,
that looked like you
it is
answered
done with a
question.
specially
There you go.
designed computer-controlled camera that can
Motion
perform
control.
extremely
Because it's going up and
complicated
down.
moves. It is filmed one
But all
frame at
that
a time
stuff
and
is like
takes up to
pioneered.
14
Wasn't it on
hours
Star
to
Wars?
shoot
Star
a scene
Wars,
that
that's
lasts
so
only
big.
20 seconds in the
That's like
finished
a
product.
Death Star trench stuff.
When you do a model sequence
Well, that's
like this,
the
if you
motion
did
control
with a
kind of stuff.
motion
That's
control
what they
system,
do
which was a camera
in Star Wars and in
motorized to make
2001.
moves. And
2001 was
you would actually have
8
to
years
go and
before
hand
Star
crank
Wars.
everything. But
Well,
now
they
with
pioneered
computers,
that
you have
technology.
the motorized, and the computer
It was
actually
more than
does
that.
it.
It was in a 60, 68
It was
or something.
69. Yeah. Well, it's roughly 8 years. Jeez Louise.
I guess you're right.
Whoa, look at that guy's hair. Look at everybody's hair.
Is that song from the...
photographed is the first thing you see.
Look
In
at
the
that
future,
cable
you're
box.
watching this.
When you had
There's
HBO,
like-
you had a box
viewers
that big
about
on
to
your
enjoy an
TV.
Say, look at all the
presentation.
people in this.
Look at that
Suddenly, the
TV.
work,
Good
the
God.
precision, the endless
That's what we
detail
used to
of the
watch.
The
I
TV
try
was
to get
12 and a
Alex
half
seem
inches,
worthwhile.
but the
Again,
cable
I
box
tried to-
was like
illusion
6.5
complete.
inches.
Explain that to my
tease and
11-year-old. Like
tantalize your
across the room, we sat, and it was like a 14-inch TV.
And people told you to sit 10 feet away to protect
remember-
your eyes.
And that was like movie night. You'd put in
That's
a
kind of
movie
neat
you
that they
rented, and it
composited
was
that
like-
in with this. That actually looked pretty decent.
And now I'm sitting at home with like 65-inch. Like I think I could go bigger. Actually, I think you get
Yeah.
used to it after a while.
We're
You're like,
spoiled as hell, yeah.
maybe could bump up to 80 inches. I think would be
We're in a
good.
golden age of television.
This is cool looking, but it seems kind of long to have before every movie.
They didn't show the full version of this for every movie. This was
Oh,
before
okay.
when they did like this Saturday night
I think
premieres.
it was also a little bit faster than this. And that was not the music.
Well, it was. They would show this part before every movie, but that little.
They're
that
doing
little
a good
part, I
job
think, was-
compositing these elements.
Oh, they're masters.
They know what they're doing, man. This ain't regular ass TV. This is HBO.
What is that space station coming at us?
Yeah.
That's no
not a
space
logo.
station.
That's
That's
a
an
space
HBO.
Yeah, that's a logo.
That's no TV. That's HBO. That logo seems unnecessary at the end of all the. I think.
Yeah.
I like how they're spelling of theater too. They got credits.
I need this song.
This is like, is this Billy Joel ripoff? What is this?
I'm gonna put this. Oh, it's right there. It's Jonathan Siegel.
By Jonathan Siegel.
He performed it too.
Jonathan Livingston Siegel, perhaps?
This is one of my favorite song or anything. What's this song called?
Illusions.
I know. That's the joke. What?
Oh, I see. You're being funny.
The first word is illusions. The chorus is illusions. The song's called.
You know, that bass is actually pretty kicking.
Not a delusion. It's an illusion. That sounds like a fake song from like a Arrested Development episode.
It kind of is a fake song.
1982. The year of our Lord, me. That's the year. I was born,
Dabba
so
dabba
that's-
doution.
Well, that was
That's
actually
wild.
pretty neat. I never even seen that, but I
I
love
enjoyed
watching.
that.
Love watching practical effects from the day. Just how
especially
clever
stuff
they
like that,
were
where
and
they really went all
creative
in.
they were.
I don't want to take away from people that do like CG effects. 'cause
No,
they
I
do
mean,
a lot of amazing stuff.
it's
but
a whole
so
different thing.
fun to see what they could do with the limited resources. You know, where they
Like
were
we
literally
said
able
this
to build
before
a-
when they talk about DVD backup extras and stuff. It is super impressive what you can do with computers, but it's not fun to watch. It's not fun to watch someone with a mouse
because it's always
just
the same thing.
drawing
Like, how
something
did they
on a
do
screen.
that? Computers.
Well, just,
Oh,
well,
that's
I mean, and just
amazing. How'd
seeing
they do
them
it?
drag elements around on a screen is not fun. But you watch someone actually cutting up something and painting it, that's
Well,
neat
just
to
that
watch.
guy's like, let me show you this Starfield effect. That's like 2.
That was actually really
And
the
you
best
just
part.
do
Yeah,
that,
that was
the
cool.
overlay, like,
That was
whoa,
cool as hell.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see, what they do now is that I think that people work just as hard now because we're always pushing the bounds of what the amount of work stays the same. It's just like
They do
now we
work
have this
just
easier.
hard.
Now we try to make it even better with this.
And they
amount of-
innovate just as much. It's just like
Yeah.
Brooke said, we don't
And it
see
looks
the work.
better.
Like
It's
we
just
don't
not
see the
fun to watch.
process
Well, we
because
can't
know it-
understand. Yeah, it's
They're
all
just doing it
computer stuff.
inside a computer. When someone says we conceptualize this practically and they built it, we see them building it. It's very exciting.
Right.
It's not that they did more or better work back then. It's just more fascinating to watch.
I do think that what they did back then looks more fun to do, though, than actually try to.
And sometimes
program
I think
something.
the effect, even though it's not quite as interesting as CGI, I think sometimes the end result, because you know it was built out of something real, still feels real.
Yeah,
I
the
do-
lighting is
I know
much
I'm an-
more like.
I know
You get
I'm
it
an
for free,
old
right?
man for that, but I do feel
Yeah.
that way.
Well, combining it is definitely a thing that they don't do enough of, like Jurassic Park sort of stuff. We don't combine practical and now because it's so easy to do stuff in CG. Though I mean, even and like
It's
there's stuff in
Probably cheaper.
just shoot everybody in a green room and they don't know.
Well, it's also the one thing that's so easy to do now. I mean, obviously it's not easy. I don't want to say like, but it's whatever. It's ubiquitous. Maybe that's a better term for it. Like it's even just the composite backgrounds and scenes and other stuff. And there's stuff that you don't even notice. Like when you're watching a movie and they're just sitting there at a bar. A lot of TV shows do this, and you're like, oh yeah, we had to take out 8 cars over there. We had to put in another. That stuff, but it's so good, it's seamless. You're like, I didn't notice that at all. Like I would never have noticed that. Now we all notice the creature and we judge the creature and the particle effects and stuff of anything, but those are
the showcase stuff. Yeah, you're definitely going to be more critical of, but you don't know. And that sort of, honestly speaking, if it's good special effects, you shouldn't notice that it's special effects. So there is a truth there.
Well, and what's so impressive about this, we're talking about movie making and something. I think I was listening to a podcast, like Matt Damon was on the thing, and he gave this quote from Soderbergh, where he said, like, making a movie's like laying like 10 miles of track, like you only see 2 inches in front of you at a time. Like each decision you're making, it's like you have to make a decision, but you can't see. Like you have to like have a vision of where the thing's going to be and make each little step. That's the thing about this stuff. A lot of times nowadays, with a effect or weird stuff, you go in there in Photoshop or After Effects, we can mess around and get some cool effects. This stuff, it took so much pre-planning, knowing what they wanted to do. You know what I mean? And then I have to invest in making these things for months. And then like even just that effect the guy was doing, like those were physical things and robotic arms they had to build to make the little streak effect. Like they had so much intention in the thing of making that, which is crazy.
Whether you're doing an actual visual effect or whether you're just talking about the writing in general, that's sort of like that's sort of the thing. Like you may feel like you need to show your work so everyone knows how much you put into it, but if you do that in the finished product, it ruins it. Like that is sort of the tragedy.
Right.
If you're doing this really well, people aren't going to say, "Oh, these are really good effects." They're just going to buy the story. And just like writing, you can't stop and explain how much work you did to arrive at the writing because the writing has to sell itself.
Well, nobody cares how hard you worked on a movie.
It's like the best assassinations people never knew about.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying though. But art's not that. Art doesn't care. Nobody cares how hard you worked on something or not. It's not. It cares how it turned out.
Some of us have different arts than others, like Brooks was saying.
Yeah.
But the point is,
the art of love.
One sees the work to know it happened.
All right, guys, that was cool.
That was awesome. Yeah, I
love retro stuff. Let's keep it going.
I also like how they keep they have the classical theater spelling of HBO theater. It's like, guys, come on.
That's like the British spelling.
That's what I mean. It's very
I know, but that's usually mean it's like also you're going to sing a play or a show instead of a.
It's not delusions, it's illusions.
If I had one note for you guys, it's like
no more confusions, it's delusions.
If I'm remembering right, that they do this later on, but you built as the centerpiece an HBO theater in the middle of town. Maybe make that your primary focus instead of going into outer space. One man's opinion.
How's that?
Illusions.